would you recommend for a student that's really struggling and they don't have their math facts memorized to take a break from math and just work on all the memorizing? Or is there a way they can kind of do both in tandem and it work out?
So in the probably, I don't know when they started. I don't know if it was in the first edition. It might have been in the first edition, but we just started recommending facts practice every day. You know, like one blast of facts of we just called it facts practice, but it's all different kinds of. It might be multiplication facts most of the time, but it's just all different kinds of facts practice.
Yes.
And it's timed written tests. Timed written tests. Timed written tests.
Yes.
I know some people don't think that, I mean, that they're stressful. It's only stressful until the students can do it. And once they can do it, then it's not stressful anymore, then it's fun. And it becomes almost an athletic event. Like, how fast can I do it? Can I get under 3 minutes? Can I get under 2 minutes? There's something about the pressure of time. It just, I think it pushes it into the brain cells better. Timed written practice is important. It really aids in that automaticity. So, you know, there's one multiplication facts page in there that I like because it's, instead of being 100 problems from 0 times 0 to 9 times 9, it's just 64 from 2 times 2 through 9 times 9. So you can do that one really fast. And yeah, they know their facts. That's all right. Do it again. It's kind of like playing the piano, you know. Even if you're an expert, you're probably going to play the scales now and then. You know, it's just basic, keeping everything fresh, and besides that, doing it fast, it kind of revs up the flywheel, and now you're kind of at a up tempo, and now you can get through your assignment faster.
Mm-hmm.
These timed written exercises are really valuable. I'm hammering it a lot, I know. But they
No,
are
I'm
really
glad you
valuable.
are. And, you know, I read both sides of the spectrum. You know, I try to understand both sides. And I've read that book, Faster Isn't Always Smarter. So I'm glad you're telling me this, because from what I read, for some kids, they freeze up, right? And then they don't do it correctly. They don't do it right. And they feel like, I'm not good at math. And so then they just have this idea in their head, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at math. And it's obviously very bad in the long term. But then they'll do a non-timed assignment and they'll get everything right. So do you think it just is more practice? If they just do it every day, that they'll get that confidence and kind of break through that stress that they get?
Yeah, I don't know if you're referring to multiplication facts, but I want to tell you a story about Brenda. So she was in my 5th grade class, and she was a pull-out student. She was a special ed student, but she was pretty capable kid. But she would be in my math class, and I wanted everybody in my class to. I just always want all my students to know their multiplication facts cold, because knowing the multiplication facts is like the prerequisite for middle school and beyond. If you don't know your multiplication facts, you know, by the time you get out of 3rd or 4th grade, then you're going to struggle in math ever after.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want them, for their own sake, to really know their multiplication facts. Brenda, she knew that she couldn't learn the multiplication facts. And she wasn't going to learn the multiplication facts. And I say, sometimes a teacher's willpower has to exceed the student's won't power. So Brenda and I sometimes had lunch together and sometimes had recess together. I mean, because I was just determined that she was going to learn the multiplication facts. And you just whittle it down. And you know, I probably should publish this little 30 lesson multiplication facts thing, because it just breaks it down into smaller bites. So once they're pretty easy to learn down to about the last 10. And so we just kept working with Brenda. And so it took a few months, but she got down there and she could do it under 5 minutes. That was the threshold. And then she could do it under 4 minutes. Then she could do it under 3 minutes. And she was so happy. But I left that school and I didn't see Brenda again. But her special ed teacher was at another school where I taught. And she said, "Do you remember Brenda?" And I said, "Sure." Well, she still struggles in some things, but she sure knows her facts. I mean, she's really pretty good in math. And so that reassured me. That made me feel happy. And
Yes.
then many years later, um, I I was on the local school board, and I was visiting that school where Brenda had attended. And I was talking to one of her teachers. And she said, "Do you remember Brenda?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I saw her in the grocery store the other day. She seems to be doing real well." And she asked me if I ever see you. And I said, "Yes, he comes around the school. I see him sometimes." "Well, tell Mr. Hake, he changed my life."
Wow.
You know, if you think you can't do something and then you find that you can, it kind of opens up the possibilities for your life. And you realize, if I really work at something, maybe I can really be successful. So, you know, that's why I say sometimes your willpower has to exceed the student's willpower, because if it's important enough for to you, for them to do that, because you know what it will mean for their future. I mean, I wasn't expecting that, but I think it was just, it told Brenda something about herself that made a real big difference for the rest of her life. It,
Wow.
it wasn't just the multiplication facts, but I'm sure that didn't hurt her.
Yeah.